Hello and welcome to the Academic Center for Writing presentation on Marxist responses to literary analysis. This presentation was written by writing specialists Judson Wood and Scott Powers. Karl Marx was a German philosopher who, along with his friend and benefactor Friedrich Engels, published the Communist Manifesto. His philosophy centered on the differences between socioeconomic classes as the basis for human history and the source of conflict throughout it. He argued that class affects all aspects of life and that a classless society would be a utopia. He believed that the rise in power of the working classes, the proletariat, would eventually lead to revolution and create a world where all worked toward the economic benefit of the state with equal pay, regardless of vocation. A Marxist response to literature examines the role that class differences play within a story. A Marxist response is a way of interpreting literature founded on the notion that socioeconomics is the ultimate reality, that all other ways of looking at life are unreal. Literature, really all of art, should depict material values, or at least the Marxist ideal. Existence is material, not ideological. Concrete reality, rather than philosophical ideas, should direct government and everyday life. The only ideal is the end result of shared wealth, work fulfillment, and ultimately a utopian, classless society, safe, stable, and strong. Common issues in Marxist response include the common man overcoming materially superior, the bourgeoisie, a physical rebellion whose end is a redistribution of wealth or a flattening of societal class strata. The Marxist response espouses reality-based working-class values replacing aesthetic upper-class values, high-class values being shown to have failed culture. Communism, replacing capitalism with fixed, equal compensation for goods and services, and an economy driven entirely by individual commitment to the state, enforced by government coercion if necessary. When writing a Marxist response, here are several questions you might consider. Is the writer biased toward the bourgeoisie or the proletariat? How do the issues of class affect the characters in the story? Does the author's writing exalt abstract values or material? What, if any, values are subverted? Does he impugn one or the other? At what kind of jobs do the characters work? Are they underpaid? Do they work under oppressive working conditions? Do the different social classes conflict or live in peace? Are characters or the groups to which they belong benefiting or suffering from societal or government structures? Who is succeeding as a result of the predominant culture of governmental system? Does class struggle affect plot, theme, tone, characterization, or other literary elements? Here's an example of what a thesis from a Marxist response could look like. This example clearly answers many of the questions posed in the previous slides. It sets up the class divisions, the flaws in the social system, and the consequences of blending between classes and the relationships that occur therein. This theme is common throughout British literature, from Dickens to Doctor Who. Of course, there are many novels based on the Russian Revolution and communist takeover, such as Dr. Zhivago by Boris Pasternak and George Orwell's Animal Farm. Even films such as Fritz Lang's Metropolis or the Hunger Games series often present the clash between the classes as the primary source of conflict. Audiences always love a protagonist who rises up from plain roots and finds a way to usurp, defeat, or otherwise humiliate the foolish elite ruling class. Thank you for watching this presentation on Marxist response. For questions about this or any other aspect of your writing, please visit us at the Academic Center for Writing in room W114. Thanks again for watching.